Okay, we're going to replace the factory, the Old Town factory rail on the Autopilot 136 with a Pacific Yak Angler one. Just going to take off my Yak Attack stuff and my Railblazer stuff here, and then we'll put this guy on. So Brad out in BC at Pacific Yak Angler has these things made right in Canada. They are not made in China. And the original Old Town rail is a one piece. You can see the thickness there. So what Brad and the guys out in BC have done, so here it is, Pacific Yak Angler. Top part is aluminum, machined, chamfered on the edges, just to smooth it out and take some of the sharpness away. On the bottom you put a plastic spacer. And now I was going to make a post about being careful when you put aluminum rails on, because in the past, I'm not going to say the brand, but if you follow us on social media or follow me on social media, you will see that in a couple of places people have asked about a particular brand. And I have given my 2 cents about it, because we used to be a dealer for that particular brand, and it is not Old Town. I stopped being a dealer for Old Town because the sales took off so much that I didn't have a life anymore. I know that sounds weird, but it was too successful. I have a full-time job, and I've always wanted to represent a brand, not necessarily sell it. So now I represent Old Town for hunting and fishing stuff, and I'm very happy to do that. Love the brand. Anyway, another brand had inset rails like this, except they were fairly tight. And what had happened is, when the temperature changed in the wintertime up here in Canada, it gets pretty cold, the plastic hull and the metal rail shrank at different rates, and it ended up cracking the hull. If this was that brand, it would have been up in this area, because what I think happened, obviously, is the plastic shrank at a different rate than the metal. I think the metal probably shrank pretty quick, being a very good conductor, and the plastic being more of an insulator. The expansion and contraction ended up cracking the hull. So having this black spacer underneath of this aluminum rail is going to take up some of that and not allow it to, it'll be allowed, or allow the, take up some of that shrinkage, because the plastic will still be able to move. If that plastic spacer wasn't there, what would happen is we may damage these inset female, I guess there's a couple here that are actually, you'll see if I can find one. Maybe they aren't back here. It looks like they're not. But we could initially, or we could strip out a couple of these holes if everything didn't move or give a little bit in the shrinking and the contraction and expansion. So that allows for that to happen, which I'm real happy about. So we're going to take this off and put the, so when you're putting these on, I'll just have a look down in the holes here. I'm pretty sure on the stern, at least, of this Autopilot, they're all, I'm pretty sure there's little nipples on the inside that have been molded in to accept screws in this area. So there's a little bit more, because I've run a camera down in these, and I'm pretty sure that's how it is. It is on the P&H stuff anyway. So we'll clean these up too. You want to use hand tools so we don't strip these out when we're putting them in. So I'm going to clean these up, and I'll come right back, and then we'll install the new one. All right, I've gone over it with the Leatherman, and we will install these. So because there's not a lot of give on the aluminum, we need to torque these down in a particular pattern. And Brad's laid it out on the instructions here. So we're going to start left, right, left bottom, right top, middle bottom, left top, like this. And that's just to try and even out the forces along this, so that we don't have one or two screws with more. The whole intent is to prevent stripping as we use this over time, and that want to make sure everything, all the forces are even. So I will torque these down now and we'll be back. All right, we are installed. All countersunk holes, all chamfered on the edges. That thing with the camera boom on here, that thing is not going to torque at all. It's going to be very steadfast. So if you're looking for a great replacement, I've got them all around the boat now. Pacific Yak Angler is the way to go, especially if you want to support a Canadian-made product. These are it. I have them on the Autopilot 136, and I really like them. Check them out, pacificyakangler.com.